Hello, good morning, welcome, Shanti.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Good morning, Om Shanti.
Good morning, Om Shanti.
Good morning, Om Shanti.
Special welcome to, I think, a few souls who have joined us for the first time. So welcome, see Sister Chow and Brinton. Welcome to you.
Hello, we're happy to be here. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for joining. Yeah. So today the thought was to explore the subject of balance, balancing our inner powers. So we all have inner powers, and we know the power of love, the power of detachment, the power of acceptance, the power of letting go, the power of courage, all these powers. We often talk about, the 8 spiritual powers: power to withdraw, power to back up, tolerate, to accommodate, to discern, to judge, to face, to cooperate. And spiritual effort is actually all about living in balance. So just use of one power by itself sometimes creates imbalance. So the key to remaining stable is balance. So just like when we were learning how to ride a bicycle in our childhood days, we would first learn how to balance. And when we balance, then we move on. And so this art of inner balancing, creating the balance within my inner world. And the thought was to explore this subject further. Okay, so we have a few slides. Are these visible to everyone?
Yes.
sir.
Yes. So the back.
So we look at balance. So one image that comes to mind is this tightrope walker, person generally working in a circus or would just be able to walk on a tightrope without losing the balance. And the key there is that the center of gravity is aligned with the direction of the rope. And so that's why the art is to create a balance or movement such that that center is always aligned. So alignment plays a very important role. And another thing about balance, that picture that comes to mind is of the stones in balance. And again, it's about proper alignment so that they don't topple. So there is that everything is able to kind of balance out. When we were young, we in science we would often learn about that forces are in equilibrium or in balance at a point. And then we would say, okay, at this point, this is the direction of gravity downwards, or this is the tension, and that's how we would compute different forces that are acting on different strings or different components of a structure, for example. We were also in chemistry, we used to learn how to balance a chemical reaction. And so we would, try and balance the different atoms, and until and unless that everything is equal, consistent. We also used to talk about equilibrium. Yeah, it's like any system is stable when it is in equilibrium. Otherwise, it is unstable. And so when we look at, the peace of mind, for the mind to be in equilibrium, for the mind to be stable, the mind to be silent and calm. So the mind needs to be in balance. So only when the mind is in balance can there be stability. And right now, as we know that the different external forces that are working are more and more getting intense, unpredictable. The times are such. So in these times, how to then create and experience this balance? And the thought was to also focus on, like in this whole example of a tightrope walker or a stone, the emphasis is given to just proper alignment of the center of the point. And so the thought was to understand what is the center, and then how do I align it so that I don't topple. So we'll try and look into different examples, different aspects, even in our meditative life, when we are practicing meditation. And also we'll look at examples of different virtues that need to be in balance, different powers that need to be in balance. Okay. So for balance, it is important to find the fulcrum, the point of strength and stability. That's what they say. The fulcrum is close to the center of mass, or the center of gravity. So when a system is balanced, then it's like all the forces are around the different forces acting are in balance at that particular point. And so that point gives strength and stability to the system. And similarly, in our life, in our inner system, the fulcrum or the point is the soul. Is the soul, the invisible light that we are, point of light. So the more I am able to experience and stay in that consciousness in a natural way. This morning we were listening how different attachments will pull the soul. When I create attachments in the story, so either I like someone a lot, or I dislike someone a lot, or I get pulled by some facility or some physical object a lot, then it's as if the balance is getting disturbed. And so for the mind to be in balance, it's like when I'm completely able to be in my self-respect as a spiritual being, a soul, an invisible tiny point of light, a being of consciousness, much more than the body and the role. So the more I live in the soul, the more I live in that point, that fulcrum, then my mind automatically gets strength and stability. So the key is to keep on channelizing my efforts so that I maintain that connection and alignment to the point, so that the soul is not forgotten. So the moment I forget who I am, then I give into external things. It could be people, possession, power, objects. So the fulcrum, the point, the soul is important to stay aligned with that. And inner balance allows me to keep moving on in life. Just like when we used to ride a bicycle, we would first learn how to balance, and when the cycle is in balance, then it can move easily. In the same way, when the mind is in balance, then I can move on with my life. Then I won't be stuck. Then I will be in clarity. There won't be any confusion. So this allows this person to just pay attention to how he's aligning. So at every step, he's walking slowly. At every step, his attention is to just be in balance at that step. He's not thinking far ahead, but just thinking, being in this moment. So the effort is to just be in balance in this moment. That's it. And the next moment, automatically, then I move forward. So the balance is this in this moment. I just try and balance my inner world. so that it is aligned with the soul, with the point that gives life. That is the truth. And so the different thoughts are automatically then aligned. And so if we ask someone who is walking, do you have fear? They will say, no, in that moment, we are just focused on what I have to do now. So there's no fear. The moment there is any fear, then the attention goes away. And so any situation also, if it comes, then automatically when my attention is to just be in balance, and there's no fear. There's no fear. There's no subservience to any situation. I am in my self-respect, in balance. So life is comprised of so many different aspects, right? Personal and professional and social and my emotional and everything. When I'm aligned with that energy within, then everything moves smoothly. When I find and hold this point, I'm at my strongest and I can carry improbable weight easily. Extremely large weight also. Just like this sculpture here. That point is able to be an infinite load also, like very, very large load. But as long as the alignment is accurate. And so in the same way, when the point is held, and I don't lose the point, and I'm able to carry the burden of situations also. I'm able to carry everything without any problem. There is a little video, and this is of a person who actually deals with balancing the stones and what is their experience of balancing the stones. It's quite interesting. So the thought was maybe we can just watch it together.
I really love balancing stones, mostly because I think it's such a great way to also balance myself and to create something beautiful at the same time. Even though a little wind is enough to make it look like your sculpture never was there. But in this moment, as I try to find a tiny, tiny little balance point, my thoughts are completely silent. And that's a very good feeling. Sometimes it only takes a couple of minutes to make a balance, and sometimes an hour. But when it's done, I love to watch the stone balance. It looks so still and quiet in a world that is constantly moving. Very often, I see people commenting that it's fake, that it's impossible to do this, and that it's photoshopped or glue. But I kinda get excited about those reactions, because it's a proof that there is so much more in this life than we could ever imagine. If some people think that this is impossible, imagine then how many more things there is in life that we still think is impossible, just because we never really tried it. Just because we already put the frames on what is possible and not. I also get a lot of questions about how to learn this, and my advice is, Just go get out there, find some stones, play around and have fun. After a while, you will get to know the stones and get a feeling of how to balance them in the best way. And you will learn to see which stones works best together. You might spend a lot of time trying to balance a stone that will never balance, but you learn something every time, and it's a wonderful way of spending time in nature. Depending on what kind of stone balance you're doing, the balance point can be really tiny. So the movements that you do while adjusting the stones to find the balance point are so tiny that you can barely see it with your eyes. You just feel it with your hands. And when you finally find that tiny balance point, the gravity will be there for you to hold your stones together.
Thing that I really liked about this clip was that the first time that I watched it, I was really fascinated at how so many different stones with different sizes and weights were able to be held in balance in such a way. I really enjoyed when she was sharing that all she's doing is just going out there and enjoying and just feeling in that moment that the way she would adjust a little tiny movement will allow the balance point to be achieved. And so the thought was, this is what is happening internally as well. So internally for me, for my mind to be in balance, to find that point. So there she's working with stones. Here we're working with thoughts, carefully. It's in the laboratory of my mind inside this inner reservoir. So I choose a thought, I look at it, I look at where is it coming from, I look at the center, at the core of it, and then I try to balance it. So ultimately then I reach the balance point, which is that I am a spiritual being. I am a soul. And in this moment, through whatever inputs I'm receiving, through whatever experiences I'm having, but if I just work inwards, align my thoughts to experience I am a soul, a spiritual being. And once that balance is reached, then just like the gravity is holding the structure together, it's like this energy of the inner being. So just holds my thoughts, holds the mind in stability, in peace together. So all I need to do is just to be introverted and just work with my thoughts. So every day when we choose a few thoughts also to allow to, every day we hear positive thoughts through various means, but if I choose a few and then just try to work with them, and I choose to work with them and ultimately reach a point where everything is in balance, it makes sense, and then the mind is still, and I'm just looking at it, just looking at it. So that's the process of meditation as well. Like as in from today's message, a few points that we took were, one was that how knowledge to be converted into love. Knowledge by itself can create ego, confusion, but knowledge merged with love, with the experience of love, can create an experience and a transformation. So I chose that, and I just chose another thought, which was about not to be subservient or not to allow that love to be leaked from the mind. And so I then work with things and how am I able to experience, hold that love, not let that love leak. And how for that, I just need to be stable so that the spiritual love from the divine comes and sits within the mind, is not leaking. And I'm stable. I'm stable. I'm still. And I'm holding that vibration. And so the experience I'm left with is the experience of then that silence. It's silence. That silence and allows me to experience a deeper aspect of myself. So not just every day, with this, I'm able to go deeper and deeper into my experience. So it's like balancing, inner balancing. Another way to look at balance is in terms of proportions. So we all cook and we all have different spices and different flavors that we use in our food. So balance, it's like a condition in which different elements are in the correct proportions. So correct proportion is very important. So if I'm cooking, if I add a little bit more salt, for example, then the entire food is spoiled. It just, the taste is lost. In the same way, it's like when I'm dealing with virtues, for example, or the values that are dear to me, they also need to be in the right proportion. Otherwise, they become imbalanced. So one such example is, for example, determination. I'm determined, it's a virtue. I'm determined, I stand firm on my thoughts, on my opinion. I don't let go of the strength, my inner, that willpower. But sometimes if that determination exceeds a limit, then it would even become stubbornness. I'm not willing to yield. I'm not willing to accept other person's thoughts, for example. So then determination has to be balanced with flexibility. So there has to be in the correct proportion. This is like a wisdom, inner wisdom is needed. So again, the more I see whatever is happening, even with my even with my virtues, the more I'm stable within as a point, the more I'll see that I'm able to notice, okay, now I'm going beyond the limit. Now I'm crossing the line. I shouldn't cross the line. So this is where determination has to yield to be more accepting, so that it doesn't become an imbalanced virtue. Same with easiness. For example, I'm easy. It's good to be easy, but it shouldn't become easy to a point where I'm so much in my comfort zone that I become lazy. I become lazy to do the right thing. Sometimes I have to say no to an inner voice as well, if it is coming out of any attachment. So again, like a right proportion is important in this whole act of balancing. Another way to look at it is, the balanced being. So there are different aspects. You see 4 different aspects here. You say thinking, feeling, seeing, and doing. You say thinking is like head, feeling is the heart, doing is the hand, and seeing is the eye. So visualizing is the eye. So all of us have these 4 aspects. But to be in balance is where I'm not using only one aspect, but I'm using all four together. So in meditation, in that being, so I'm thinking also, so I'm contemplating also, but also I'm feeling. So I'm activating my heart as well. So not just thinking, but thinking going towards feeling. It's like knowledge and love. Knowledge merged with love is when I come to that being, that point, where knowledge and love coexist. In the same ways, visualizing something is like to be able to see it and also to do it. Just seeing alone is not enough. I need to put into practice as well. So planning versus acting, for example. So both needs to be together. And so in meditation, then all these aspects are important. So I contemplate on pure positive thoughts. I feel them. I'm able to visualize them. And also I have a plan of action of how I'm going to use them in my day. So this creates a holistic learning. This is how I'm balancing these inner parts so that I become more and more conscious of the point, conscious of the being. And so this model also allows me to realize that if I'm getting more towards one particular aspect, then the other is where I need to work on. So if I think a lot, that I know that in order to be balanced, in order to experience being soul conscious, I need to also feel, increase my love. If I'm always in the doing mode, in the action mode, I'm saying, oh no, I have to stop and just see what I'm doing, not just keep on doing. Sometimes we also call the four subjects of our spiritual study. We say knowledge or contemplation, yoga or meditation, dharana or inculcation, service or contribution. And so all these are represented in these different four in a way. So thinking, contemplation, knowledge. Yoga is feeling, meditation, yoga, feeling it. And dharana is I'm able to hold it. So I'm seeing it. And service is doing, physically doing something. That's why we have to pay attention to all these so that we stay in balance. This is the inner work. Because what happens is, if I'm too much, for example, in the feeling, for example, then sometimes I'll have good experience in feeling. But because it's not balanced, any external situation will come, someone will say something, and I'll get hurt. I'll get hurt. Because my thinking is, for example, not healthy enough or not deep enough so that I can detach myself from the situation. In the same way, if it is just thinking, then it becomes dry. And then any situation will come and react. So then I won't be able to feel the love, the spiritual energy, the vibration. So both are complementary. Both are complementary. And that's why meditation is a lifestyle. It's not just sitting and meditating, but it's a lifestyle because it encompasses all these aspects, not just one or two. all the four. So the interesting thing is we have a different name for all these as well. So someone who is operating from, we say, the head and the eye, they are called professors. Professors. So they think well, they also see, visualize, intellectualize, and they're professors who are from seeing and feeling in this quarter. These are artists. You can see, also feel. So I'm drawing something, for example. I'm seeing and feeling it. And here, feeling and doing, these are called social workers. So I'm feeling something, I feel passionate about an idea, I want to do something to make a difference, social service. And then here, thinking and doing. So I think, and these are more like engineers, organizers who would think, but then also need a plan of action. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, like that. So all of us have these 4 within us. We may have an entry point, but we have all these 4. Yeah. And this balance is so interesting. Like if I look at within a team also, we'll see people with all these 4. And for someone who's operating here, for example, their situation, or it will be difficult for them to handle people who are in this frame of mind. So I bring in a team a professor and a social worker. So their wavelengths are different because here they're just in the thinking, reflective mode, and here they're just the feeling and doing mode. And that's where being in the point helps me to understand the other person's perspective, to treat them accordingly, to know where they're coming from, and to then adjust myself, be flexible, that I stay in the point, in the balance. And so the balance is being. So when I'm being, when it is balanced, the stones are balanced, then I am. I'm not thinking about this, I am. I'm not just feeling it, I am. That silence, There's nothing, I'm not doing, but I am. So in this, all 4 are together. All 4 are together. All 4 together create this experience of I am. Another way to look at balance. So we looked at stones, we looked at the balance of alignment, we looked at balancing the stones, we looked at equal proportions and these different 4 aspects. And now this is more about using the opposite ends. For example, when we say love and discipline, it's like balanced spiritual progress. So on one end, I have love, but on the other end, I have law. We say law or discipline. So a mother needs to love the child, but also discipline the child, because both need to coexist. So if a mother has real love for the child, she will discipline her as well. But that discipline should be based on love, not just external, strict. The same way, silence and action. I have silence, so I spend time in silence, but I also spend time in action. Generous and economical. So I'm generous, but I'm also economical. Otherwise, I'll just, they won't balance. Master and a child. Master means I'm in control, I'm in charge, I'm master. I'm not a slave, but then also a child needs to have the innocence of a child, not to lose it. So for these ends to work together. So when I understand where I am currently, it is easy to navigate my next step to reach the point of balance. So if I feel I'm on one end, I have a lot of love, but not a lot of discipline. So I know I need to operate here. I need to operate in the balance. So I'm too economical. No, I need to be more generous. I need to be in balance. So if I'm getting more generous, no, a little bit. So in balance is where the being is. In balance is, that's where we say, we hear words like, when there is balance, then there is a blessing. It's when I'm in balance. I'm able to just observe the magic of the divine energy. Blessing. Let us call it blessing. So in a team, I have to share my thoughts as a master, but then I also have to learn to let go and accept the common decision as a child. So I don't harbor any ill feelings towards anyone. So I operate in the balance. This allows, actually it's a good map to understand where I need to work spiritually. If I'm too much in the action mode, then I need to increase time in silence. If I'm always in the silence, then I need to increase time in the action mode, so that there is a balance. And interestingly, our brain also works in balance. The balanced brain. We have a left brain and a right brain. And the left brain is logic, right brain is intuition. We say analytical thought, logic, language, science, mathematics, reason, all are left brain. Then right brain is this creativity, holistic art, music, synthesis, faces, patterns, recognition. So serial versus parallel. So again, it is linked with the one of the four quadrants. But the brain, the idea of these two lobes or these two sides of the brain is for them to function together. Because only when they function together is when I am in balance. And that's the whole purpose of meditation. So when I am in the point, then I'll feel that my logic is also working well. I'm able to understand things better. And I'm also able to feel everything. I'm able to empathize with the other person as well. Otherwise, if it is just logic and there's no balance, I won't have empathy. That knowledge may result into reaction or ego or arrogance. But when both work together, the knowledge will have an expression in humility, for example, because the energies are in balance, balanced brain. So the balance of expansion and essence, serial and parallel, together in balance, working in harmony with the point. That's why we see like a lot of scientists are also good artists. Like Einstein, he used to play a lot of instruments because they have somewhere a balance of both. That leads to a holistic growth, spiritual growth. And if we look at children, during play, we're naturally balanced. So when children are out to play, we were all children once. So any opportunity, we just want to play and enjoy. And when I'm playing, I'm also enjoying, right? And like I'm using my right brain. It's intuitive. It's intuitive. It's also logic. So I have to strategize, plan. It's both the energies working together. So the natural inclination of a child from 8 months to 8 years is constant play. So they would always find one way or the other to play, because that's what their life is, to play, enjoy. So then when I, the soul, I am in balance, then what happens is I see everything as a play and I just enjoy it. I'm naturally able to see every scene, to meet every person, to work with them. The end goal is to enjoy it. Entertainment. This morning we were listening, and there's knowledge and love together combined, entertainment. And I just get entertained. I live life to enjoy it. That inner being is childlike, innocent, pure, wise at the same time. And if we look at meditation, so this is brain pattern. You see, meditation, this is a normal person. This is a brainwave synchronization study. And after 15 minutes and after 25 minutes, we've all experienced after meditation, it's like our brain now works in balance. So unbalanced, prone to anxiety, depression, weakened mental health, and meditation can balance both brain hemispheres, allowing them to work in sync. The result is neurocommunication of thoughts and responses multiply, resulting in a better performing integrated system. So my mental, emotional, and both are optimized. So meditation not only works on brain, but also alters it neuroplastically. So again, meditation is coming to that point as a scientific analysis done to show how it works. Again, coming back to the point. Let us just take a moment to come back right now. With whatever thoughts they may be, I just choose to come to the center. So I just see a tiny star, a tiny point of light, the center of the forehead. This is a being of conscience, consciousness, conscious energy, a pure, peaceful being. I'm in silence. And then with that, it's like my priorities are also balanced. Then because in my life, there are many things that I need to take care of, but the priorities become the first priority is to ensure that I'm stable and peaceful inside. That's my first priority, to my state of mind. And second is to then maintain loving and respectful relationships with everyone. So when I'm peaceful inside, then my relationships also are peaceful, loving, and respectful. And then the task is then the third. Generally, what happens if I prioritize task first and then relationships, and then myself, then I lose the balance. That's the wrong balance. Now, right balance is this. So myself, my state of mind first, in any situation, okay, I need to be peaceful now. I need to be stable. Then the next step is relationships. You need to have good, loving, caring, respectful relationships. And third, to get the tasks done with cooperation. And then number one leads to number two. Number two leads to number three. Automatically it happens. So this is then when I have balanced myself as a point, then this is the way my life is. We call it the inside out life. Balanced within, it helps me to improve my relationships and also the tasks. And so once I have balanced, so there is balance, then I'm able to hold the essence. And when I'm able to hold the essence, then I experience silence. Silence. And when I experience silence, it is then when I experience presence. Presence. Presence is just like in that stillness, then there was the, just look at it and just the gravity holds it together. And so then I, the soul, I experience the presence of the divine, presence of the higher source. So to experience the presence, this is the inner work. I stay in balance, work on the balance. Just holding the essence, experiencing the silence, feeling the presence of the source, the divine. This process is meditation. Experience the presence of the divine right now. So to experience the divine presence, let us take a few moments to just experience this balance within. My thinking, my feeling, my seeing and doing are all in balance. I found the point, the soul, the fulcrum of my life. I hold this point in my awareness. This is an invisible, tiny star. The point of peace, the point of stillness. This point is the essence of life. I begin to just experience the silence in the soul. I travel beyond the physical dimension of sound and matter, space and time, into the silent dimension. Silent dimension, where there is nothing but silence, stillness. in this silence, I experience the presence of the divine. I get absorbed in the rays of pure love of the divine. I feel that those rays are coming and entering me, the soul. I feel my heart is getting filled with that love that the divine has for me personally. This love removes all the fears, anxieties, attachments, makes me complete, whole, without any leakages. And as I enter into the world again, I carry this love with me, this presence with me, so that on the field of action, I'm able to emerge the divine presence with only a thought. Shanti. Shanti. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your time, presence. Appreciate. Love to hear from everyone your thoughts on this Shanti. Please feel free to share your thoughts.
Om Shanti. Right. Very nice presentation as usual, and thought-provoking as well. What I went through was with you was that we are under a myriad of forces that we have. The thought process brings up, the power of acceptance, letting go, love, etc. And we need to find a right balance, basically, so that we can operate. And the example of the man walking on the tightrope is very appropriate in the sense that he's just concerned about the present, because whatever he has traveled, he cannot change. And he's focusing on where he is at that point. He's trying to balance there, and then create a plan for, kind of the next step, basically, which we call the future. So it's a balance there. So the most important thing is that it's the present which is most important, where we have to be in balance of all our external forces that are being applied. And the example of stones was very nice. It seems like to me that just like she said, that you go and find the stones yourself. I think each individual or each soul is experiencing different shapes of stones, in the sense that the forces that are say the forces that each soul is external forces that each soul is experiencing are totally different. And to be able to find a unique equilibrium, I think for individual soul is also unique. Basically, you cannot generalize that, okay, everybody follow, but because the forces for each soul are going to be different depending on their sanskars, environment, or where have you. But in the end, what matters is that we find a balance, and the wheel of balance that you shared was very nice. That there are ends or two ends of spectra everywhere, in love and discipline, and child and master. So all these are create a unique balance for everybody. In everybody's life is different, the experience in the soul is different, but ultimately I think every soul has the unique balancing power or balancing point which we achieve, and finally we get to the blessings from the divine, and that is the most important point. And you went through those steps: balance, essence, silence, and presence, and it all ties in very nicely. And we are fortunate to be able to listen to you. Thank you very much. Thank Om Shanti, and thank you, family. Thank you, Baba.
Thank you. Beautifully you summarized the gist of everything. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Om Shanti, brother.
Shanti.
Very beautiful presentation as usual. You explain thoroughly what point you want to put across. And creating balance in life is extremely important, because without balance, we cannot achieve the silence of mind. And without silence of mind, we cannot achieve the presence of God. So in spirituality, extremely important to maintain the inner balance. And we have to live inside out, not outside in. Like you said, that usually most of the time we get affected by situation and circumstances of life. And that's imbalance of our mind and soul. But we have to keep the balance of mind and soul and connected to God, and then the live life. Then we can live as a game, and we can enjoy, be joyful. And like game, you explained very well, children are entertaining the game and playing with others in harmony. So if we have to stay connected with people with love and harmony, and we have to enjoy the life. But that can happen only if we have inner balance and if we live life inside out. Thank you. You explained beautifully. And thank you very much. Om Shanti.
Saurabh, an excellent talk and really thought-provoking. And it stresses on the point that soul defines the personality of a person. And it is always under distractions and from various aspects of life, and how to balance it and have a smooth and happy life is the final outcome, how we manage our life. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Krishna Bhai. Appreciate. Very nice.
Yeah, thank you for that. That was beautiful. I loved when you're talking about, you need to focus on your inner balance first before you focus on, trying to help those around you. And that's so true, because I think a lot of times, we try to fix things around us. We try to help the world, but we can't help the world unless if we have that inner balance within ourselves. But thank you for that. It was beautiful.
Thank you, sisters. And appreciate you taking time out this morning. Thank you.
Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Bhai, I really liked this picture of the wheel. It has Like sometimes when we think about balance, we always think about two elements involved and you have to balance the two. But I liked this elevated and more elaborate version of balanced spiritual progress slide that you share, this picture of other different aspects, love, silence, discipline, all those aspects integrated together. And when we come to that center point of balance, and we are a soul, a point. So it's all very integrated with Baba's knowledge. So that was like, I really like that. And I took a picture of that slide. So thank you so much. Om Shanti.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Ben.
Om Shanti Saurabhbhai.
Shanti, Sister Chena.
Yes, could you explain in simple words, please?
Yeah.
What is neuroplasticity? Does it mean that when you are not balanced, there's a contraction of the neurons in our brain? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, neuroplasticity is like how the neurons are actually shaping our um, our sanskars, for example. Like the neural pathways are actually shaped by our repeated use of a certain neural pathway. And that is what it's called kind of neuroplasticity. It's like they say that our thoughts affect the neurons, and then the neurons are triggered in a certain way. And that's what the that's how the pathways, neural pathways are formed in the brain. And so meditation allows us to alter not only then, our mind definitely, but also physically alter the brain through neuroplasticity. Yeah, it's a nice emerging science. And there's been a lot of research on neuroplasticity and meditation, and how through meditation we are able to change the structure of our brain. Yeah.
Thank you, Saurabhbhai. Thank you.
Thank you.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Saurabhbhai, for a lovely presentation. And it was very beautiful to note all the points, and the important ones were the mind to be stable. It needs to be in balance, and for balance, it's important to find the fulcrum. And the fulcrum of the human life is the soul, which is a point of light. So the inner balance allows us to keep moving on in life, and the effort is needed to be in balance and to live in the moment. It was very nice to know that a balanced being has all the four aspects: the seeing, thinking, feeling, and doing in balance. And when we are in, it is a blessing to be in balance. And when the mind is, when we are balanced, we're more stable, peaceful inside. And then we have loving relation and respectful relations with everyone. And we can get all the tasks done through cooperation. So it is balanced within, inside out. And very important, very interesting to note, when we are balanced inside, we're able to hold on to the essence, experience the silence, and ultimately experience the divine presence. Thank you so much for a lovely presentation. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Nita. You summarized it so beautifully. Thank you. Very nice. Any other inspirations? Can hear from anyone else would like to share? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Sister Chena. We have a few blessings for everyone. Just Did we hear from our friends who probably Lucille or Debbie or Galaxy Note 8? Any thoughts from your side, or Rajesh Bhai, Naresh Bhai? Any thoughts from your side? Om Shanti. Om Shanti.
The balance between our understanding, our actions, the surroundings comes also the people with whom we come in that if our inner is stable and peaceful and strong enough, then our behavior with the people who are coming in our contact will be stable and loving and caring. And when we maintain this balance between our
Right. Very nice. Nice. Thank you. Thank you. Very nice. Acha, so thank you, all the angels. Yeah, actually, we will have next week, we will have a session with Sister Madhvi. Sorry, this week didn't work out. So next week she will be sharing. So thank you. Yeah. So a few blessings for everyone. This one is for Saroj Pen. You're a loving soul who views others and the self through the lens of pure feelings and deep regard. Thank you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Om Shanti.
And Kamal Bhai, you are a beautiful soul who elevates the ordinary to extraordinary with the power of peace.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Om Shanti. Om Shanti, everyone. Thank you.
Sonam Ben, you're a natural leader who empowers others by first empowering the self. Thank you, Sonam Ben. Krishna Bhai, you use your gifts of wisdom and acceptance to fill every interaction with dignity and benevolence.
Thank you very much, Saurabh Bhai.
Thank you. Thank you. And Sister Dao, your heart overflows with feelings of appreciation, enabling you to celebrate the beauty of every moment and the speciality of every soul. Thank you, Sister Dao.
Thank you.
And Sister Britton, your peaceful heart provides sanctuary and comfort to others, whether near and far.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to just share a few words about yourself and about what you're doing? And it would be nice to hear. We do have a few minutes to hear from you.
Yes, so I'm Sister Dow.
I'm Sister Brenton.
And we're currently serving as missionaries for our church. And so I grew up in Alberta, Canada.
I grew up in Caldwell, Idaho.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so we were called to serve in Indiana. And we're going to be here for 18 months. And yeah, we just talk about Jesus Christ with people, talk about God. And it's for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Also, if anyone has heard of it. But it's really awesome being out here because we get to meet so many lovely people and we get to experience so many incredible things here.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you so much. I just randomly kind of met them on a walk a couple of times, actually 2-3 times. And somehow we kind of connected, and it was so kind of them to take time out today. So appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, we love being here, and yeah, it was so awesome running into you. And we definitely feel so much love here, and we loved what you talked about today with balance.
Yeah, it was really good.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We hope to see you more often and also hear from you. Thank you. Sure. And Neeta Ben, blessing for you. By filling your heart with the awareness of how perfect every moment is, you become a source of serenity in the world. How
Thank
true.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Sarabhai.
And Virender Bhai, by filling your thoughts with mercy and your heart with understanding, you fill your world with love.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Sarabhai.
That's so true. Sister Jena, from your heart flows a love for humanity, making you the perfect instrument for creating a better world. Beautiful.
Thank you very much. Om
Thank
Shanti.
you. Thank you.
Yes.
And Sister Lucille, your inner landscape is filled with thoughts of truth and beauty, offering the perfect soil for a new world to take root. Thank you. And Naresh Bhai, your heart is filled with an ocean of understanding, enabling you to remain peaceful and loving at every moment. Very nice.
Thank you.
And Rajesh Pen, from a place of self-respect, you contribute to a world of peace where truth and love live side by side. Thank you. Thank you.
ये वो तो repeat करेंगे सौरभ भाई?
जी, जी. तो राजेश बहन, from a place of self-respect, सम्मान की स्थिति में रहकर, you contribute to a world of peace. आप शांति की दुनिया बनाते हैं where truth and love live side by side. जहाँ सत्यता और प्यार दोनों एक साथ हैं. Very true. Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, angels. Have a great rest of the day. Appreciate your time, presence.
For yourself, brother.
Oh, okay, let me find one for Saurabh. Bringing the light of innocence, you create moments of appreciation where souls feel free to be kind. Thank you.
So true, so true. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, family. Om Shanti.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your comments also on the chat.
Thank you.
Thank you. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.